Welcome, guys, to ILWPOD. I'm your host, Justin Wright. As always, today we are welcome with another member of the WWA4, Jay Tyler. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Still good. Enjoying this wrestling podcast journey I'm on. And I was excited to get you on here after talking to Travis 3000. Um, and I've talked to Eddie Hendricks. Your name's been brought up a couple of times, so I'm glad we can work this out.
Uh, definitely. I'm glad we're working out too. We're looking forward to it.
Definitely, definitely. And I guess I want to, before we get into things, give a special shout out to the WWA4. Um, Anytime I get one of you guys on here, it's always a blessing. You guys have given me the most opportunities when it comes to podcasting. So, a special thank you to yourself and everybody involved down there. I appreciate you guys.
Man, thank you, bro. You giving us opportunities to get our name out and promote ourselves, put a shine a special light on the floor that a lot of people don't want to shine on the floor. So thank you for that.
Of course, I think Fox does an incredible job down there. Um, Everybody I've talked to down there is probably like you guys are the most down to earth, easy to talk to, um, and you're always excited to be on here. So like I've had guys on here that just don't want to be here, and it's one of those like, why did you like say yes? So like I've never had that experience with one of you guys, so just thank you 100 times over. But
So
before we get sorry,
it's all about what I said before, man. Just down there chill people.
definitely, definitely. Before we get started though, do you want to give any shout outs to any social medias, merchandise, any upcoming events?
Follow me on my Instagram, J_Tyler 5200. Follow me on my Twitter, J Tyler 5200. Follow me on Facebook, J Tyler. Follow my YouTube too, J Tyler 5200. Special shout out to the four, my girlfriend as well, Tatiana, who's in the back. But yeah, shout out to all those people.
Did you have any upcoming events you wanted to give a shout out to?
We have a upcoming event Saturday, DWA in Williamson, Georgia. Uh, event starts at 7:30, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, my guys Travis 3000 and DJ Bruno defending the WWA4 Tag Team Championships against the Northside Heroes. So that's gonna be a banker.
Definitely, definitely. Um, when I generally on the podcast, I start off with the easy starter question. We always, as wrestling fans or wrestlers, have a reason or and like something happened to where like we found wrestling. Um, we have a story behind it. Is there a story for when you found wrestling and knew that there was something you wanted to follow?
Wrestling has always been a part of my life as a kid. Like growing up in the South in the country in Greensboro, Georgia. I got like an auntie. She hasn't missed an episode of Monday Night Raw since it launched. So like wrestling's always been big in our household. Uh, uh, but my earliest memory of wrestling was like uh, my uncle had two tapes, WCW Worldwide '99 and SummerSlam 2001. And I remember watching those over and over and over again. And those are like my first early memories of wrestling. And I just know as a kid, they tell you don't try the stuff at home. I didn't listen. I tried everything at home. My mom got me a trampoline with the net. I did put the whole net up. I put the four posts up, put garter hose around it, like on wrestling ring. I used to, I even used to sit up a ladder on the outside and do Jeopardy sports on off the ladder until trampoline and shit. So nah, I always loved wrestling. I even made my own title belts out of cardboard boxes, like everything. But wrestling, I've always wanted to do wrestling. I got kind of got away from it and didn't know what I wanted to do. Like in my early 20s, like a couple years ago, I was like, well, I'm not getting no younger. Might as well just try something and throw something at the wall, see if it stick. And I just tried wrestling and I loved it. So
So like growing up, were you a sports kid? Did you get involved in football, basketball, baseball, anything like that?
I was real big on football. Football was my number one sport. I used to. I remember one time I got into it with a teacher because it was like, "Why do you come to school?" And I was like, "I come to school to play football, and the only way I could play is to stay eligible for your class. So I'm gonna pass your class up. Don't worry about it." I was always big on football. I did. This was my thought process in school. Like, football is my sport. I need to stay in shape all year. So after football, I did wrestling. And after wrestling ended, I decided to do soccer. And after soccer, I saw the football, and then back to football. It's like a whole routine. It's like playing wrestling, football, wrestling, and soccer, but all focused on football.
Was there ever any plan for you to do more with football, like after high school?
Yeah, I went to college for like a semester and a half. It's a HBCU in Augusta called Payne College. They had started a football team. We started a football team the year I graduated high school, and I went out there, I tried out, and I made the team. So I did that, and it just it wasn't all that hyped up to be like I thought college football was gonna be and how college was gonna be. And I ended up getting kicked out of college, and I was like, "Go ahead, just moving around now."
Yeah. Um, Getting back to wrestling, like, do you remember your first like live experience, like going and seeing the show?
My first live wrestling experience was the WWA4.
Okay.
I on the internet, and I was looking at like pro wrestling randomly, and I found the WWA4 website. I clicked on it, and I clicked on the page. I clicked on the Instagram page, and it just so happened to be a Thursday around 8:30, and they were live doing the show. And I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool." Then I found out it was like around the corner from staying at like not really around the corner, more like down a couple of exits down. And I was like, I might as well go out there and see what it's up. I invited my girlfriend out there. We enjoyed it. I invited one of my friends out there, and me and him enjoyed it. And the last time I came out there as a fan, I was like, you know what? Let's try it.
So is that how you came across them, like as a training school?
Yes.
And how did you end up going about talking to them and starting training?
Uh, well, like I said, I was going to shows, and like the last time I went to a show as a fan, I was like, you know what, I want to do it. And I just so happened to get my taxes around that time, and I had a couple of $100 saved up from working at a club. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go sign up. I went, I drove up there one day after work, didn't tell my girlfriend, didn't tell nobody. I just signed up. Got a license for my
Was
girl.
was Fox there?
Oh yes, Fox was there.
So what was that like first interaction with Fox like?
Actually, I didn't know who Fox was at first until I walked in the front door and I seen the Lucha Underground poster, and I was like, "Holy shit! This who run this school?" Because I like my favorite match was uh him versus Killshot
Swerve.
and Swerve. Yeah, the three stages of hell match. I was like, "This who this guy is? Oh, that's gonna be awesome." And I introduced myself to him. He introduced himself to me. It was like cool. I gave him the money. He told me to hop in if I want to, and I hopped in. Uh, Off to the races.
So like that day you just jumped, he had you jump right in the ring, get started.
Yeah.
How long was like your formative training?
A couple weeks.
Couple weeks.
Yeah, it was
So
like,
like it wasn't long before you got to jump in the ring.
yeah, like I said, we hopped in the ring the first day, taking bumps, teaching me how to roll and stuff like that. Like the basics, he was teaching me on the very first day. The first, like, as soon as I gave him the money, he was teaching me the basics. I hopped in, jumped down, leapfrogs, all that. And like I said, coming from like, I played sports when I was younger in high school and stuff like that. Even though I haven't done it for a while, it wasn't anything for me to adapt to it. Like, oh, all right, this is remind me of when I was a kid jumping around. So
And like doing research, looking at you, you're a pretty built dude. So I'm guessing you stayed in shape throughout that in between time from college to the training.
no, not at all.
No?
Uh, it was I was back and forth. Like when I left college, I quit working out like that. Then I started. Uh, it's funny. I seen a video of me playing with my nephew at the time. It was like really young, and I was like, man, I'm getting fat. I was like, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna make a change. And I was like, I'm gonna stop eating meat. And I quit eating meat, and I end up dropping from like 235, 240 down to 190. Then I end up meeting my girlfriend, and you get in a relationship. She fed me a lot, so I ended up gaining weight again, back up to 220. So I started training. I was around 220. I dropped around 215, considering the fact there's a whole lot of cardio and wrestling. Then like earlier this year, like towards the end of last year, earlier in the beginning of this year, I was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna hit the gym like really, really hard, and get myself in like good shape in the ring so I can look good in the ring. So,
Definitely. So like as far as like training goes, how long have you been like at the A4 now?
about 2.5 years. Started in April 2022.
Okay. What's that journey so far looked like for you? Have you been able to interact with a lot of people, maybe win a little bit of championships, stuff like that?
Uh, I'm I'm currently SBW still running as far as I know. I don't know what's going on with Southern Violence right now. But currently, I'm a tag team champion with Travis 2000 and Southern Violence. I'm a former WWA4 Internet champion, and yeah, that's about it. We've been traveling around a lot, so that's been like the main thing about it. As far as meeting people, I met a lot of the legends in wrestling at the past Bad Blood in Atlanta. I met Diamond Dallas Page, X Pac, Mickey James, Booker T, Arn Anderson. I actually ended up meeting Bianca and Jade and Naomi and Jay Uso. It was a cool experience. I was even I don't know if I was supposed to tell this or not, but I don't care. But I was behind it when they did the first scene of Triple H walking out of his office. I was across the hall in the room across the hall, and I'm looking at him. And I was like, that's probably like the first time in my life I've ever been starstruck. I've met like former NFL players and stuff like that, Super Bowl champions, seen all the rings and all that. And it never starstruck me, but when I seen just standing across the hall from Triple H, it starstruck me.
Definitely. It's funny you brought up the bad blood thing because bad blood happened right after I had my conversation with Eddie Hendricks. Um, and like I was sitting there watching the pay-per-view, and I can't remember what part it was, but I see Eddie in the background. And I call my dad up and I'm like, Dad, Eddie Hendricks is on he's on Bad Blood, like he's in the background. He's like, No, he's not. And I was like, Yes, he is, Dad. And then like he looks, he gets on there, he's like, Wait a minute, you're not lying. I was like, Yeah, I just talked to him. And I was like, I don't know, less than 10 interviews in. So like me as an interviewer, I was like, somebody that I'm talking to is on TV right now. Like so it made me
Oh,
feel good. Um It's a fun little story, I guess. Like it was just crazy. Like I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks later, you guys were on Bad Blood. It was
Yeah, it was fun.
some fun.
Yeah, that day was crazy because it's like I I was about to go to sleep and my girlfriend said she sent me a meme or something and I didn't hear it because my phone was dead. So I put my phone on charge. As soon as my phone came on, Fox hit the group chat talking about they needed extras for Bad Blood. So I hopped up and my girlfriend dropped me off downtown. I was running around parking lot or the outside trying to figure out how to get inside, get backstage to do the spots, do the extra work and stuff like that. It was a lot. We ended up
How
doing it. So,
how does extra work? Like how does somebody get in contact with you and then like what does it look like from a backstage point of view?
it was more of a, like I said, I think Fox hit the group chat. Somebody got in contact with Ayla, Fox's wife, and she got in contact with us about going down there. So we got down there and I was like, we got to talk to security about getting wristbands. And I ran back up and down the corridor like 3 times. So I finally got my wristband. Then I text the group chat where to go get the wristbands. And that's how everybody else got in.
Okay. And then like that day, are they just telling you, hey, stay here until we need you, or are you free to like kind of mingle between like some of the guys that pass through and stuff like that?
It was more of we walked. It was like I said, we had no idea what to expect, what we were doing. They just said it was something with Jade and Beyond. And so we were like, all right, cool. First, like I said, me and Travis were the first two there. Like we were together when I saw Triple H. And then they was like they put us with one of the backstage workers and he took us up to an elevator. By the time we got to the elevator, Eddie Hendricks ended up popping up, took us upstairs to a suite and said, this is where y'all gonna be at. Come in with the camera. Just act like it's a party. Like, all right, cool.
Okay. Do you just get to sit there and watch the whole show then from the skybox?
Yes.
That's
We
what's up.
watched every match until the main event from the Skybox.
Okay. And then is that whenever they kind of just take y'all like away and tell y'all to like pretty
Yeah,
much it's done?
go to backstage, watch the rest of the backstage, and let us go.
Okay. Is like, do you think there'll be more opportunities like that in the future?
Surely hope so. Like I said, that was spur of the moment out of nowhere for us. So surely hope so.
Have you been able to do any other extra work at all, whether it's for WWE or AEW or MLW, stuff like that?
I did extra work for MLW the last time they were here down here in Atlanta.
Okay.
I did the Boomaye entrance for Alex Kane, another A4 guy. And I did the karate boxing thing that Dijak ran in on and threw the guy out the ring. I was one of the people that caught the guy when he threw out the ring.
That's what's up.
And also I
Um,
did that extra for GCW once.
so like extra work for an MLW or a GCW, is it like a lot different than doing it for a bigger promotion like WWE?
Yes. Like it's a lot more pressure with WWE because considering the fact it's so big, you don't want to leave a bad impression on because you never know what your future might hold. You don't want to leave a bad impression on anybody. MLW is and GCW is kind of the same, but it's more relaxed, meaning like you know they'll tell you what to do. Like you would know what you're doing hours in advance. Like so
And then with WWE, I've heard like sometimes everything's like kept pretty hush until like right before it's supposed to
Yeah.
happen. Like
Yes.
everything's top secret. Like need to know. You
Yeah. If
said
you
that's right.
don't need to know. Yeah. If you don't need to know that, that's not good anything.
Fair enough. Um, I can't remember who it was I talked to, but they also did the MLW spot with Alex Kane, and like they brought up how like Mark Henry was there and a couple others like legends were there, and they were given the opportunity to kind of pick their brain a little bit or to just listen in. Is that something you was able to do at all?
Yes, I was able to talk to Teddy Long and Mark Henry and all those guys. If you actually before I changed my profile picture, the picture of me just staring off into the camera, that was actually a off guard picture between Xavier Woods and David Boy Smith Williams having a conversation. I was just happened to be in the background and I looked up and they took the picture.
That's great. Did you get to talk to Xavier or Davy Boy at all?
Oh, talked to Xavier for a little bit, not a long conversation.
He's also from Atlanta, isn't he?
Yes,
Yeah. Um, does having, there's a lot of legends or um superstars now on the main rosters that are from Atlanta or from that Georgia area. Is that something like that motivates you to get there at one point too?
definitely, definitely. Ever since I found out Fury went to the four, I was like, oh, I got a chance seeing people pictures on the wall like Leon Ruffin with NXT North American Championship, like stuff like that gives me motivation. Seeing Jonathan Gresham on TNA gave me motivation. Xavier Woods, Cody Rhodes, John Breaker, all those guys being up there on TV, giving like shines to Atlanta, like all that gives me like motivation to want to do it too.
Definitely. Um, you mentioned Austin Theory and Leon Ruff. Gresham, I believe, is also alumni from A4.
Yes,
Um, those names, and I've heard there's a wall there in the A4 with all the alumni or guys that's made it. Is it hopes that one day your name's up there at the top of that list?
definitely want my picture big on the wall too, because I want to be the big guy on the wall. Every time I see walk in, I see Theory, Mac, Ruffin, Cal, Tangra, Alice Kane, all these guys on the wall. Like, yeah, I want to be on the wall too. Like, Falk got the big Lucha Underground banner on the wall. I want a big banner on the wall as well. You know,
It would I've heard some guys say that it'd just be an honor to be up there with some of those guys. I mean, especially a lot of them are still growing and just to see them already achieve such great things and they're from the same school, it's got to make it seem more achievable.
oh, definitely, definitely. Like I said, go back to when we was talking about Bad Blood when I met Jay Uso. He allowed me to hold the Intercontinental Championship, and I was like, yeah, this feels right. So stuff like that, all that gives me like motivation. Like, yo, I got to keep trying this. I got to keep going. I can't just give up because independent wrestling don't pay much right now. And you got to get it out the mud and grind hard. So I don't care. I grind.
Earlier, you mentioned traveling, getting out there. I know you've done a lot of work with like Action down there in Georgia. Um, you mentioned DWA earlier. Like, are there more promotions that you try to spread out to, or is it just like right there in that Georgia area?
I would like to spread out some more promotions. I've done Guardians of the Galaxy promotion in Panama, Florida twice. I would like to go back out there. I did Forever Pro in Chattanooga. I recently had a debut at Middleton Independent Pro Wrestling in Middleton, Tennessee.
Okay.
I'm also looking trying to branch out to really want to go out west. I would love to go to Texas. Uh, that's one of like my main goals is get out of Texas. Trying to do that soon.
Definitely. I know Travis 3000 has been doing a lot of work. I think he just did a show in New York and
Yeah.
Indianapolis. So somebody doing that right in your inner circle has to it has to make that something that could be easier to achieve, if that makes sense.
Uh, it can, and sometimes it can't. And sometimes the people, they want them to like, oh, well, they have their own story out here. We have to put you in for another time and stuff like that. But I'm not hating that. I can respect that. I want Trav to get any and all opportunities. I think I'm not a hater. So any chance that Trav gets to shine, I want Trav to shine. So uh, the New York trip, I think he said Ash Bennett got him that booking. So shout out to Ash for that. So like I said, I want him to get out and shine because he's gonna always put on for us. It's just like if we go anywhere, we'll put on for him. So
Definitely. Definitely. Do you want to talk a little bit about y'all's group and about y'all's tag titles and stuff like that? Just shed a little light on those guys that are in that little inner circle.
well, the group started off actually as Trav as this random tag team at the time. Trav wasn't was trying to be baby face. I was trying to work heel. And I was like, I don't want to tag with Trav, but eventually Trav grew on me because Trav was a great person. So I was like, you know what, I'd tag with Trav when we caught ourselves 52 stacks. Then I was like, I want to grow. I want to add like more people to like do like a faction. And I only wanted to add one more person. And the person I wanted to add was DJ because it wasn't because of how aggressive DJ is in the ring or how any of his offensive or anything like that. It was more of his selling. I thought DJ was like one of the best sellers I've seen, like especially starting out as young as we are in this business. I thought he was like a great seller, so I was like, I wanted DJ a part of my group, and he eventually the offense and everything, and aggression and all that character came out eventually with him. Uh, then we ended up adding Hendrix because Travis and Hendrix got booked together on Action, and they couldn't come up with a team name that Matt wanted to have a team name. So they actually was like, well, can we use Stay There Militia? And I was like, fuck it, I don't care. And so they ended up adding Hendrix that way. But he then traveled with A4 tag champions. Me and Travis are the Southern Violence tag champions. We won those a few months back, like earlier this year, because their champions couldn't, hold up to booking. So we stepped in and held down their tag division until recent events. So that's really mainly what it was. We defended those titles against uh outside heroes. Those are like one of my favorite tag teams, the WrestleWA4 guys. Like they're definitely future tag team wrestlers, 100%. Those other guys are tag team wrestling. Um, but we also defended it against Cleaner Corpse in Swanee, Georgia. That was a cool match. But it's really mainly about really what we did with those belts. It's kind of trying to figure out the direction with the promotion. So
I see what you're saying. With the tag gold, I mean, seeing how there is four of you, do like promotions ever let you guys work under like a free bird rule where somebody could swoop in instead of another guy, or who's the champs is who's champs? Is that how that works?
uh, we actually haven't had to run into those issues with the champ both not being there, but I'm pretty sure that wouldn't be an issue if we had, Travis had another booking and I told some the promoter like, hey, can Hendrix step in or can DJ step in? I'm pretty sure that wouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
That's like it's like at the four, like TJ or Travis out there for me and him to be tag champ for them at that time. So
Definitely. Um, since we're talking about tag team wrestling, do you prefer singles or do you prefer tag?
uh I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. Because tag wrestling has its benefits with taking less bumps, doing less work, you get to catch your breath more. Singles wrestling, I feel like I can do singles wrestling pretty good. As far as like pacing myself to where I'm not blown at the end of the match, but a lot of people can't. So I I would say I prefer singles wrestling because I can also get all my moves in if I want to. It's singles
Yeah.
wrestling too.
You get that opportunity to shine the spotlight on what Jay can do.
Yeah, yeah.
And then another question is, there's you got three partners technically. Do you see yourself sticking with them guys on screen for like your entire indie run, or could you see eventually everybody spreading out and spreading their own wings and doing different stuff?
The thing is, it's like we all can do singles wrestling. Like there's no issue with no anybody going to wherever they want to go do. Like if
Okay.
DJ want to go somewhere and go wrestle singles, go do it, bro. I'm behind you. If Trav want to do it, like he's doing in Naptown, Trav do it. Hendrix do it, wherever. I don't care. Like we all support each other. And, like if we want to do independent wrestling, but if we're going to do tag, we're gonna rock as a tag too. Like there's no order of I want to do this more than I want to do that. If the opportunity comes for us to do singles, we're gonna do singles. If it comes for us to do tag, we're gonna do tag. So
Definitely. So whatever's gonna pay the bills.
whatever place it is, we're gonna do
Okay. Um, Not too long ago, the WWA4 had their Wicked Five event.
it. Yes,
Was you a part of that?
yes, I was part of that. I did a triple threat match with A Wall and Keelan Cole for the internet title.
Okay. How'd that go for you?
That was a fun match.
Yeah.
That was a fun match. A Wall went over, but we had fun. The crowd was hot for it. They loved it.
Um, in a triple threat situation, is it harder to get your spots in because there's so many moving parts?
No, this triple threat it was a lot easier because like we just feels like with my moves, my move set is more of a all right. I can plug this in anywhere in the match as long as I can get to it. So it was easy to get my stuff in. And consider the fact we only like called 3 spots. The rest of it was on the fly. So
Do you typically just go out there and call the stuff on the fly? Or do you guys try to plan out your spots and stuff like that?
starting out, I tried to plan out all my spots, start to finish. Recently, I'm getting more into calling maybe 2 or 3 spots and the rest of it out there in the ring and making it work. But other than that, it's all work in progress. It's all just learning for me, trying to figure out if I can do this, if doing it one way makes my match make more sense, I'll do it one way. But if the other way I can make it make more sense, I'll do it the other way. So,
Yeah. Um, being, you're still pretty young into your wrestling career, only a year or 2.5 years, I think you said. Some people say like the first time they go through the curtain, there's a lot of nerves. Is that something that happened with you? And if so, like with time, does that dwindle?
I definitely had nerves my first time coming through the curtain, especially considering the fact I was coming off injury. Definitely had nerves. But and over time, it definitely went away. Like at this point, I'm not as nervous as much. It's like if I do get nervous, I tell myself this is what I train for, this is what I do, and just go out there and have fun. But as far as like the nerves I got when I first started, no, I don't get those kind of.
Okay. Is there anything you do like a ritual wise that helps ease the nerves, or is it just like you said, reminding yourself that you trained for this type thing?
I say a prayer,
Okay,
say a prayer stretch,
I respect it.
is what I do.
Uh, Prayer goes a long way, so I understand. Um,
Yeah.
Another thing that like stuck out to me doing research, especially about the four, was I realized that about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years now, AR Fox and AR Fox did an angle with Darby and Sting. Was you there for that whenever that happened?
Yes, I was definitely there for that. It was a big moment for the school, so I definitely could have missed that.
Was you aware that anything was going to happen that day, or did it just kind of happen?
Uh, I was aware something was going to happen, whether what was going to happen.
Okay. So is that one of those Foxes like, hey, something decent is going to happen tonight? It's going to happen live. You guys be prepared type thing, or is he
No,
just
no, Fox is more of a quiet to himself person. So
okay?
if he'll let certain people know what's going to happen, just so we can keep, everybody, we can make sure everything is going according to make sure that nothing goes awry in it. So he let me know that something's going to happen. So I made sure that everything else is all right. Everybody else is out of the way and in the place, and nobody else going to jump in and get in the way.
Okay. What was your initial reaction when you see Darby coming through and then Sting coming through the curtain?
Well, Darby, I knew Darby was there because I seen Darby like the day before. He
Okay.
came to the school. Sting popped me because Sting is fucking Sting,
Yeah.
and so that popped me. But yeah,
Was you
but
able to have any interaction with either guy?
no, they got out of there pretty quick. I think they
They
had
just got
catch a
out.
flight. Yeah, they had to catch a flight back to wherever AEW was shooting at because
Okay.
we do A4 Thursdays and they tape Collision. I think, and I think they ended up taping Collision or doing Collision live, and they had to go like somewhere far away. I forgot where it was.
Um, Recently Fox has been highlighted a lot on AEW. Like he's been in a lot of collisions. He just had that match for the Ring of Honor TV title against Brian Cage. Do you think having Fox being highlighted on AEW gives more eyes to the A4?
I feel like they should highlight Fox more than they highlight Fox. I feel like they don't do enough justice to Fox, considering the fact that a lot of the wrestlers that they push in AEW get a lot of their game from Fox. Like a lot of the independent wrestling is influenced by AR Fox. And I don't feel like AEW gives them enough justice. But the little shine they have given him, he definitely has taken advantage of it to give light to the force. Consider the fact like the Darby Allin Sting thing, that was big. One of the times they did Ring of Honor, they did AW in Atlanta, they did the Ring of Honor taping, and Fox sitting us in the front row, and he made sure to walk directly around to us on his entrance, get us on camera, But he does. He's doing the stuff for us.
Definitely. Definitely. And I feel like I talked to somebody else about this, but like with Fox, it's somebody that I could definitely see being a future TV TNT champion. I'd love to see him as the AEW champion. Like Fox deserves it, especially. I mean, just based off like Lucha Underground stuff alone, he was insane. Um, Indie wrestling is shaped today by Fox. Realistically, the stuff he does is inspired a lot of people to do similar things, if not the same things. So like I don't understand as a fan why he's never been highlighted more. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. So it's good to see him at least get something on TV because Fox deserves it, definitely.
Definitely hashtag push pause.
uh Something else that like recently has popped up in wrestling news is the WWID system. Is that something like as an independent talent that you have your eye on and is something that makes that ultimate goal of either getting to WWE or AEW more achievable?
Uh, it's like I like to be focused on myself and what I'm doing. So that's mainly what I'm doing. I'm trying to focus on just keep pushing and hoping that I get out the right eyes on me. Does it give me hope? Yeah, it definitely gives me hope that they're at least looking down and keeping eyes on the ending as much as they were signing college talent to start. They still got an eye on the indies. That does give me hope. And considering the fact that some of the guys that have been ID'd, especially around in the Southeast, have been in the ring with. So that right there is a kind of a, was kind of cool. But it definitely gives me hope that doors can be open, opportunities still in there.
Definitely. I know one of the schools that like because they named a couple of schools. One of them is like the Nightmare Factory, which is also in Georgia. Have you been able to work with any of the guys from the Nightmare Factory at all?
Yeah, I work with a few guys. One name I can get off the top of my head is Michael Solar. But yeah,
Okay.
I work with some.
Do you think working with guys from a school like that help get eyes like possibly from somewhere like the WWE or something?
I sure hope so.
Okay.
And, like this kind of like a pipeline. It's like, all right, man, we know they're in the area looking. Hopefully, we can at least get them to see us.
Would you like say, does like Fox have any opinion on the ID system, or is it something that he's not even worried about?
He's not worried about it. He says, just be patient. Be
Okay.
patient. I ain't, listen, just be patient. It'll happen this time. It'll happen for you.
Do you like, I've always just wondered because obviously Fox is signed to AEW. So like, do you think that like Fox is more like aiming towards you guys going there, or do you think he doesn't matter as long as you guys make it in the business regardless?
He doesn't care. He wants us to make it into this.
Okay.
Like, if our goal is AEW, he wants us in AEW. If our goal is WWE, he wants us in the E. If our goal is TNA, he wants us in TNA. If it's MLW, it's MLW. New Japan, New Japan. He wants us wherever we want to be. And the way he trains and his style of training is, I'm going to train you to be where you want to be. A lot of people think that his training style is I'm gonna train high flyers and everybody's gonna do flips. He doesn't train people like that. If we do flips, we do flips. If we throw people, we throw people. He's gonna train us to be where we want to be.
You know, I've heard a lot of people bring up that they think Fox just trains people that are high flyers that are just flipping and doing whatever. But I mean, from my personal experience talking with you guys, I've talked to more powerhouses and more technical people than high flyers and stuff like that. So I don't understand, especially somebody who's talked to. I've talked to a lot of you now, so like
Yeah.
That it doesn't make sense.
I've literally hit up a promoter one time to try to get on a show out here in Georgia, and I like sent him my uh, his like a little card. It's like, hey, I've wrestled here, here, here. This is like my resume. And the guy literally said his response was, I don't book guys who can't tell a story without doing a flip. And I was like, damn, you clearly never seen me wrestle before. And in my 2 years of wrestling, I've done two flips in a match.
It's just I don't get it.
Yeah,
Um, and if you look at the catalog of people that Fox has trained, a lot of them, I mean, there are guys that do flips, but there's also like Theory can do a flip, but he doesn't do flips. Jonathan Gresham is the most anti-flip human being I've ever seen in my life.
that's like the guys that get a lot of highlights in Georgia. My boy Teriyaki, Mr. Danger is going crazy on GCW.
Yep.
Like they do flip, and why wouldn't they do flip? Mr. Danger's like a buck 50. Terry's 175. Like why wouldn't they do flips? They're not picking me up. I'm 225.
No.
Yeah, they're not throwing me around the ring. So you do all the flips you want to do.
Do you prefer working with a high flyer or somebody like your size or bigger? Excuse me.
Uh, I prefer working with somebody that's safe. That's what I prefer working with.
Okay.
If you can be safe in the ring, I prefer working with you.
Okay. I like that. Would you say you have a favorite kind of match or a favorite like stipulation?
Uh, hardcore.
Okay. What's your favorite weapon?
That is my favorite weapon.
No.
I'm a Dudley Boys fan. I like when people do tables. It's
You
pretty
like
fun.
table?
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
All right. I've been through a piece of plywood. I've never been through a table. It's something that's always, I guess, as a fan's intrigued me. The same with tax. I've always wondered what that feels like, and in my crazy mind, is there anything that you don't want to go through?
uh, if I can avoid going through glass, that would be cool.
Okay.
But like being somebody like me, I'm from the country, and in the country there's not much to do, and there's a lot of livestock, and means there's a lot of barbed wire fences. So I've been through a lot of barbed wire in my life, and that's out. That's before I even touched the wrestling ring. Been through plenty of barbed wire. Uh, I fell through glass before. I don't like that, so I don't want to go through that anymore. So that's probably the only thing, glass. If I
Okay.
can avoid it.
I respect it. Um, Getting into the end of things, just a couple more questions. The rest of them I'll make fun. Um, do you have a favorite match that you've been a part of?
6-man tag, Fade Air Militia versus the Scope, AR Fox, Liam Gray, and Asian Atlantis. I did it
Okay.
at DWA's 4th of July show.
Who got the win?
Uh, the Scope got the win, but that was like my first time in the ring with Fox and like
Okay.
the actual. It was crowd was crazy the entire time. We went like 25 minutes, and not too many people can keep a crowd hot for 25 minutes, especially in a 6-man tag. We kept them hot the whole time. Great spots. It's pretty fun match.
After a match like that, is it easier for Fox to give you some feedback or like does it matter?
Honestly, after that match, I will- it, I wanted feedback. He gave us feedback, but it was more of a feedback of somebody that was in the ring with you, and it was like, yeah, that was a great match.
Okay.
Everybody was safe and hit their stuff, got their stuff there, hit their spots on point. and the crowd was hot, so that was the main thing. But he enjoyed the match. I enjoyed the match. DJ Trav, Adrian, Liam, we all enjoyed the match. It's probably one of my most proud of the matches so far.
Definitely, definitely. That's it's got to be a highlight so far. Um, Especially getting to get in there and have a banger with the man that trained you. Do you have a favorite match that you watched?
Favorite match that I have watched. Um, can't even think of a favorite match off the top of my head. Probably John Cena, Randy Orton, Hell in a Cell.
Okay.
It's probably Randy Orton's character work and how his movements in that match made made heel work make sense to me. Uh, More recently though, Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes at Takeover. That match made wrestling make so much more sense to me as far as like storytelling, like being able to tell a story. And wrestling was like, oh, I watching that match, I was like, oh, I can see what they're doing and where they're going with this. And I put that in my wrestling matches, and it helped me get better in the ring.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna ask you kind of a two-parter question. Um, in wrestling, there everybody has their opinion on a Mount Rushmore. So I'm gonna ask you who your top four guys are and why. It's just your personal opinion. It don't have to be, who's the best of all time because there's everybody gives the same answer on that. So who is your top four guys?
Top four guys, top four. Um, well, consider the fact that I grew up with Cena. Cena's definitely one of the guys.
Okay.
Um, AJ, Randy Orton. Fourth one is always the hardest one, right?
Every time. It's the one that stumps everybody.
uh, I have to go with the GOAT, Shawn Michaels.
Can I ask why?
Oh, well, I grew up with John Cena. Big influence on my life, like I said, when I
That
was
might be
making
my goat too. I'm not gonna lie.
when I when I was on my trampoline with the garden hoses, I was making my championship belts. John Cena had the sprinter belt. I manufactured the sprinter belt out of cardboard box and a nut and bolt. So John Cena's that guy for me. AJ Styles, simply hey, when I think of TNA wrestling, I think of AJ Styles. That's basically off of when, like I said, I got into wrestling around like 2000, early 2000, mid 2000. It's like watching it heavy. And by then, there's no ECW, there's no WCW. So only thing I know about WCW was the Road Wild 99 tape. And the only thing I knew about the ECW was the Invasion angle.
Okay.
So that was the only thing I really knew about those. And 10, I came across TNA on Spike TV one day, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." Watching TNA, and six-sided ring, AJ Styles doing the X Division, had Beer Money, had Suicide, all those guys. So, but two guys from TNA that wasn't for me, AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, but I could have chosen one of those guys. Randy Orton, Randy Orton, in my personal opinion, one of the greatest heels of all time. Growing up with him, with John Cena being my guy, if Cena's my guy, that means I hate Randy Orton. But if I hate Randy Orton, that means he's doing his job damn good. So
Definitely.
Randy Orton and so Shawn Michaels, because Shawn Michaels is fucking Shawn Michaels.
Probably the arguably best in-ring performer of all time.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, and I'm gonna throw one more at you just because you are in a faction. Do you have a Rushmore for factions?
Mount Rushmore factions. Yeah.
It's
Um,
my first time I've asked this question.
Mount Rushmore factions. Hard one actually.
It's a good question.
Damn good question. D Generation X.
Okay.
D Generation. Um, mm, it's a crazy one. Nobody think. I'm pretty sure nobody will ever say this. LAX.
Ooh, I like that.
I
Homicide and
love LA.
Hernandez were great.
Hernandez was actually one of my favorite wrestlers. He actually inspired me a
Super
lot.
Super Mex was crazy when I was a kid. I loved the border toss as a kid. I remember my
Yeah,
dad throwing me on the bed. I'd be like, Dad, border toss me. He'd throw me.
yeah, greatest thing ever did as a kid. Um, DX, LAX. Was a good section. Bloodline is always a great section. Bloodline. Um, who else can I say? Well, you gotta say the four horsemen because they're just a legend in the business.
Probably one
Yeah,
of the best of all time. You can't argue. Horseman. I don't think there was a bad iteration of the Horseman.
no,
I one more. You got one more.
yeah. Uh, Booker T's cabinet. Booker T's cabinet.
Okay, okay.
Booker T,
He,
King Book.
that was fun
King,
back in the day. I forgot about them. I'm not gonna lie.
is King Booker's cabinet.
King Booker's
Real,
cabinet,
real,
bro.
real.
I hated King Booker as a kid because he was just so
Uh,
over the top. But not looking back at it as like a grown man, like Booker T, like he took the king mantle seriously, and you had to love him for it because it just with the
yes, it's
pinky up and making people kiss his finger and stuff. It was just great
it's
stuff.
a complete transition overnight of character was the greatest thing ever to me.
Yeah, because it was like a night and day difference. Like
Yeah.
Booker T before was completely different than King Booker, and it's just great stuff. um,
Another group that I actually like is only a tag team, but APA. APA was the funniest tag team ever to me. Simply off of the fact that they had a door in the middle of the room, and you can only go through their office through their door. It's the funniest shit ever to me.
I loved it when people wouldn't go through the door and they'd make them leave
Yeah.
and come back through the door. Like, hey, you can't do that. Get back through the damn door. um, before we go, is there any advice you'd like to give anybody that would want to be in your position or just as like to be a pro wrestler?
Uh, just do it.
Okay.
Fuck it. Why not?
All right.
You only got one life to live. You only got one opportunity to do it. Go do
Simple. Just go get it done.
it. So the
Okay.
only person gonna do it for you is you. So go get it done.
I like it. I like it. Jay, thank you one more time. I really do appreciate it. Much love to you and your A4 brothers. Um, I'm just gonna leave the door open. If you ever want to come back on here, we can shoot the shit some more. I'd love to have you, man.
Definitely. Thanks for having me. Man. And shout out to the four. Shout out to all my guys. Shout out to this
Definitely,
podcast.
100%.
Shout out to my cat behind me. Man. Been bothering me the whole interview.
They've been behind there the whole time.
Hold on.
All right. Jay, I'm gonna leave it at a see you later then.
All right, man. See you later, man.
All right.